Yeah.
Let's get into it. All right. We're still working out the kinks of our intro, but we're gonna have that a lot smoother. But we want to welcome you to once again to another episode of Pop Talk. This is our the dozen, you know what I'm saying? This is the 12th episode. And we have a very special guest for this. I am Professor Nims in there. You know, it is the pundit with the PhD in pugilism. I want to give it up to my man, Boston Jared. Don't forget the S. And my man with the best name in boxing media, the Casual Ran.
What's up? What's up?
And the coach with the philosophical take on this fight game, Coach Dave. But tonight, we want to give it up to our inaugural guest to the show. This man is a recent inductee into the 2021 Atlantic City Boxing Hall of Fame. He's a former terror of the welterweight and super welterweight division during the 80s and 90s. He's a man who has been in with Hall of Famers and former world champions such as Bernard Hopkins, Buddy McGirt, Terry Norris, a soon-to-be Hall of Famer himself. I want to give it up for a former three-time two-weight division world champion and lineal welterweight champion. We want to welcome the great Simon Mantequilla Brown. Big up. We are really humbled. And my Spanish is terrible, even though I grew up a little bit at Panama, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But we want to say first off, before we kind of jump into the questions, we the pundits, you know, as our first guest, this is like kind of setting the bar pretty high in my opinion. But we definitely are happy to have you here. And before we kind of get into it, is there anything that you want to kind of say, Mr. Simon Brown?
Well, you know, I just like to say I thank God that I'm able to do this, and you know, hopefully everything goes just as well as you want it.
Absolutely. So we do have some other things that are part of the agenda, but we want to reserve this time here, and as much time as that he allows us to have, we will definitely take advantage of that. But we also want to be respectful because he's doing a lot of big things himself, which we will kind of talk about a little bit later. With that said, I want to go ahead and jump right into it with the first question. So, Champ, looking over your glorious career, fighting people like, and we talked about it earlier, Bernard Hopkins and Buddy McGirt, who do you think was your greatest opponent?
Well, you know, you mentioned them guys, but remember that my first world title fight when I fought Tyrone Trace.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
I feel that was also one of my best because it was 15 rounds. It wasn't 12 rounds.
Woo! I was shocked when I had went back over that. A lot of people, that was right before they had, you know, changed that. But yeah, that was a 15-round fight.
Right. And I mean, you know, they don't have that now no more, but that was when you really had to dig down in deep. When he said around 13 and 14, you got to dig down in deep. And that's what I had to do. And, you know, a matter of fact, that fight, I was basically losing that fight until I think around the fifth round, because he told me in the press conference he was gonna knock me out in the second round, and that's what he did. he knocked me down in the second round, and I got back up, and I had to battle my way back through the fight all the way until around the 5th round. And after that, I take it over and knocked him out in the 14th.
Yeah, that is.
One quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So mentally, how is it training for a 15-round fight versus when it switched over to a 12-round fight? Was it mentally different? Did you know you had to, like in training camp, did you know you had to go and put that extra in to get the 15 rounds, or did it just mindset, this is what I have to do?
Well, basically, myself, I love to train. I love to put in the work. And when a person loves to put in work and loves to train, it doesn't matter how long they go. I could go all day long. Now, if I didn't train and put in the work, then I wouldn't worry about it. But since I know that I did, as long as you want to go, I'm there to do it.
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine. I was, in the amateur, I think they go up to like 4 rounds, but the trainer used to always say that,
the amateurs go up to 3
oh
rounds.
yeah, 3 and 3 rounds. So, but one of the trainers used to say that you have to actually probably train for about 3 or 4 times, that means, so you really have to kind of train for about 12 rounds just to be comfortable to go, 3 or 4 rounds in the amateur. So I couldn't even imagine preparing your body and all that for 15 rounds. That is.
Well, I had a guy that trained me by the name of Pepe. We didn't train normal like a lot of our fighters, 3 minutes around the gym. We all, since I started, since I was 15, since I was 15 years old, we trained 5 minutes around. So if we spent 10 rounds that day, it's 5 minutes around. He didn't believe in nothing else but hard work. And if you're not working hard, don't come to the gym.
I think that's a great segue, because a lot of people. So could you tell us a little bit how you got your nickname Mente Kia? Am I saying that right? I know it's
right.
Mente Kia.
Matter of fact, my trainer Pepe, because that's who started me out of the box when I was 15, brought me to the amateurs, and even brought me to my pro career. He gave me that name. He had told me one day that I fought like another fighter named GWOAT or something from Puerto Rico, because he's from Puerto Rico. And he said he's going to give me that name, Mantequilla, because he means smooth as butter. And that's what I fight like. It was smooth as butter doing my thing.
That was Jose Napoles was a 160-pounder from Cuba who emigrated to Mexico. I believe was a 3-division champ. Fought guys like Carlos Monzon 3 times, Benny Briscoe, Nino Benvenuti. So yeah, Jose Napoles was the guy's name. Was a Cuban fighter, but fought out of Mexico.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, Mr. Brown, along that same vein when it comes to names. So I have some guilty knowledge. I went over BoxRec, and I saw that your government first name is actually Sisford.
Yeah, my name is Sesford Leslie Brown, my real name.
Sesford Leslie Brown. That's a typical Jamaican. That's a serious Jamaican name right there.
But my father is into God a lot and read the Bible a lot. And the name Simon was in the Bible. And I could remember, he said, when I got older, when I asked him, where did he get that name from? He told me he came home one day from the farm and just started calling me Simon. And it stuck with me through my whole life. Nobody know me by Cesar. They all know me by Simon.
Awesome. So last question for me. I'm a little bit jealous, but we have to kind of spread it out to all the pundits. But you have been described as a tough, skilled, courageous, high IQ fighter. What do you think was your biggest kind of asset or advantage as a fighter?
Well, basically, number one, I love training. Even now, I still do a lot of training now. I love running. And a lot of fighters, they don't like to do the work. They want to be world champion, but they don't like to put in the work. I love to put in the work because I want to be the best at what I do, and that's what that make me.
Yeah, so it sounds like you weren't scared of the hard work. A lot of people want all of the other things that come with it, but you were not scared of the hard work.
Once it was time for me to fight, and my trainer said, "Okay, we got 7 weeks to get prepared for this. We're gonna put it in," and that's what we always does.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, so on the same line of training, just going through your career, I mean, you were truly the definition of having like knockout power in both of your hands. So how did you train to not only have power in your right, but to have power in your jabs, and you have a powerful hook? You're known for your hook.
Right.
How did you train to do that? And then as a trainer, how did you train your fighters to have that also?
Well, basically, you have to when you shoot the left hook, you can't just shoot the left hook and don't put your hip, your butt line, and your shoulder into it. And twist your toe at the right place, right time, twist it, and that's what gives you the power. And my trainer told me, to definitely do that. And, I stick to it and keep working on it, and every day and work on it. And it turned out to be one of my favorite punches was my left hook.
Did you, like, early in your career, did you realize that you can just take somebody out in either hand, whatever presented itself, you can just go ahead and get them out of there with either hand?
Right, yeah. When I at Fight Pro, I know, but that basically either hand that I hit him with, I could hurt him. And I love to double up on my punches. I just don't like to shoot one shot. I like to shoot 2 or 3 shots, double it up. And once I hit you one time, something is coming back. And once I hit something come back, something is coming back after that until I see you go down.
No doubt.
Okay, I understand your philosophy, and so the fast forward into today's fighters, do you see anybody that kind of resemble your style, or somebody that you like watching that's out now?
One of my favorite fighters older now is he's a welterweight. What's that boy name from Texas?
Spence.
That's my favorite fighter, man. That's my favorite fighter. He reminds me a lot of myself.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I was looking at some of your old fights, and I was thinking that also you like to put pressure. You like to come forward, and then you have power in both hands. And then I was thinking, when I was thinking up this question, I was like, who would I say comes close to your fighting style? And to me, it was Spence also.
Yeah.
And then so my last question is, after being your Jamaican-born fighter, me and Coach Dave had the privilege of meeting another Jamaican-born champion, O'Neal Supernova Bell, that was fighting out of DC. So we trained with him and worked out with him before his passing. And then, so are there any Jamaican-born fighters that's out now that you follow?
No, I haven't seen one lately. For some reason, I've mostly my fighters in Jamaicans that it was Mike McCollum, back in the day. But now I haven't seen them. Mostly Mexican fighters, Cuban fighters. I see a lot of them now, but I don't see that much Jamaican like it usually be back in the day.
That's a good point. I don't want to before we go to the next one, stir up any controversy, but I know that Spence is your favorite welterweight at that time, and that's a division that you reign supreme, which is seen as one of the glamour divisions. One of my favorite fighters out there is Terrence Crawford.
Terrence Crawford, he's a hell of a fighter too, man.
I'm sure you're familiar with, but if you had a choice right now, if you saw them in the ring, is there anybody that you would favor in that matchup?
Who would I favor?
Yes.
I want to think twice. I have to go with my man. You know who was that? Crawford,
you already know. He's like,
I love Crawford, man. But I gotta go with my man Spence, man. I gotta stick with him all the way, man, through thick and thin.
It's not
you
because
and Randy
Spence,
gonna be you and the casual
it's not because
gonna be
Spence
best
is Jamaican,
friends.
is he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Brown, it's not because Spence is Jamaican, is it?
No, it's just the way he just he's put his punches together good, man, and put the pressure on you. And always remember, pressure busts a pipe, man.
Pressure buzz fights.
Oh man. Professor Nims, you good? We moving on? Or?
Yeah. So I think that Coach Dave has a couple of questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, hey, well, listen. Once again, look, and I know we said it in the beginning, man. We said in the middle, but man, listen, man, I'm over here having a blast, man. I mean, it's just an honor, bro. It's an honor, man. And I mean, I'm talking about I remember watching fights. You fight, man, with my daddy, man, who's recently done passed on. But I mean, he loved you, man. He loved you, man.
Yeah, oh man, I'm sorry to hear that he passed, man. I'm sorry to hear that he passed.
Yeah, no, but so I'm just saying it's full circle, man. I'm literally sitting here with memories, man, in my mind. But one of the things I want to do, man, is in my line of questions, man, I definitely want to give you a chance to really talk about what you got going on. But one of the things, especially with what I know, we kind of working on, we might get into that a little bit later on, but I would like to know, man, just in all the wisdom and the experience that you have, man, be it from when you first started to winning the world's champion, dealing with promoters, dealing with all the finances that came in. What's something, or is there anything that you would like to say to up and coming fighters now in terms of wisdom about managing and shepherding their own career? What advice would you give to these up and coming fighters, man?
Well, these up and coming fighters now, the thing that I would like to tell them, man, because they don't put in the time and train hard like we usually do it back in the 70s or the 80s, They need to train and put in the time, and know that's exactly what you want to do when you're doing it. Not come in one day, don't see them again for 3, come in 2 days, don't see them again for a month, then they come back up. You can't be a champ that way. Right. You got to continually train, Right. And matter of fact, nobody never told y'all, but that, I never fight opening class as an amateur, that.
You never fought open?
Oh, I came out of novice. I turned pro in a novice.
So how many amateur bouts you had before you turned?
You could check it. I have they said 24, but I believe that only had 16.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
But that's the work.
And I turned pro because it happened when I turned pro. I ain't supposed to turn pro. I turned pro by going to watch my partner Maurice Blocker fight. And opponent didn't show up for Ricky Williams. And the promoter asked, do anyone have anyone to fight Ricky Williams? Because his opponent didn't show up. My trainer looked at me, Pepe looked at me, and then he said, I'm going to turn you pro. I said, Pepe, I haven't fought opening class yet. He said, don't tell me what you can't do. You've been whooping a lot of pros. I'm going to turn you pro. And that's how I turned pro, man.
Wow. No, that's definitely first heard. Yeah, that's definitely first.
Nobody never really know that, but that's how I turned pro.
Wow.
And never fight opening class at all, man.
Okay. All right. Well, man, let me ask you this, man. I want to give you a chance to just kind of flow. So I wanted to ask you, man, is there anything you'd like to let us know to catch us up what you got going on, man? I know you got the gym, just what you want us about anything.
Well, brother. Right now, yes, I got the gym. This is my first love that I always, been doing, since I've been 15, train fighters, and that's what I've been doing, and that's what I love to do.
Right. And within the gym, man, are you having a chance to share your life with these guys, to say why you got into boxing and the type of influence you wanting to have on these guys beyond just, making them devastating fighters inside the ring, but what about powerful fighters outside the rings with all this stuff that life throws at us? And if I can bob and weave the punches of this guy, then I'll be able to bob and weave all this mess that be coming at me in the world, the drugs, the fast, and just in the boxing game.
Well, you know, one thing I tell these guys, man, that basically, number one, they have to stay clean, stay away from drugs. Cause I'm 58 years old. I never smoke a day in my life. I never drink a day in my life. And still don't have no intention to do so. And because I know that I keep myself clean and stay straight, I know I'll be okay.
Right.
And, you know, a lot of fighters, you know, they want to mess with the drugs, they want to mess with, you know, alcohol, you know, they ruin their body. You know, they need to stay clean, you know, and once they finish their career, if they want to do some crazy stuff, go, you know, I still say don't do it, but stay straight where you could basically have a good career.
Wow, man.
And stay away from drugs and alcohol, you know, because it's no good for you.
Yeah.
And I'm 58, like I said, I'm 58 years old, man. The only thing I got to drink in my life, when I'm in front of the preacher and he gives me that communion, little red grape juice.
I got you, man. Wow. So I guess my question, man, before I pass it back to the NIMS and let them keep navigating us, my final question would be this. As you look over your entire boxing career, is there anything in it that you have done differently or wish you would have done?
Well, that I wish I would have done. No, I will do it. I would have do it the same way. The only thing that probably could have been more is basically I make more money. that's basically all. Cause I came out the back door, you know, and got to the front door, and it wasn't easy, but I pulled through with it.
My man.
Yeah. I just want to
was.
say that, yeah, I want people to truly recognize, you know, this was the lineal welterweight champion, you know, at a point. So there's not a lot of people who can claim that you were one of the top pound for pound fighters. I don't know if you recall how high you were able to rise on that list or whatnot, but you know, if there was at that time when you were boxing, there was 10 boxers in the world or whatnot, you were one of the best 10 boxers in the entire world.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Thank you.
And so I also want to pull up something real quick. I just have your boxing cam, and also if you want to leave, I'm not good on social media, but I know that's the kind of deal. So this is I'm following him, but this is his Facebook page. Is this correct?
Right.
So this is the Simon Brown Boxing Academy.
Right.
It's the number that's there and all of this. So you can go there and get all this information that's out there. Make sure that you do follow. If you want this wisdom from not only a sage individual, but one of the just terrorists. This guy was. He seems real nice and calm here, but in the ring,
oh man.
But trust me, he was he was taking no so you remind me a lot of Spence in that, because they like to go for the knockout, the kill. I don't like it in the judge's hand. I want we kind of miss that's kind of that old school boxing feel. All right, is there so we're coming close to about 45 minutes of their 25 minutes of your time. Is there anything that you want to leave? Last week, you know, we said that we were only going to take up about 20 minutes of your time. I know it went a little bit over, but you know, when you have opportunity to talk to one of the greats in boxing, and when they can share their knowledge and wisdom, you really don't want to kind of put a clock on that.
Can I ask a couple questions?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So Mr. Brown, I'm a third generation boxing fan. So despite being relatively young, I was made to watch boxing as a very, very young person. I've watched a lot of old film, a lot of old tape. In my opinion, the skill level of the boxers today is not comparable to the skill level of the boxers from your era. And to me, what you see now is a lot of guys who are relying on strength and conditioning as well as a natural weight advantage. So my question to you is regarding the same day weigh-in. So did you ever have to fight with the same day weigh-in? And
Yeah,
would you be in? Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, majority of my whole career, really, I was weighing in, you know, the same day that I fought, I was weighing in that same day.
Would you be opposed to bringing back the same day weigh-in? What kind of effect do you think that would have on boxing today?
Well, basically, because a lot of guys now that once they weighs in and they have a chance to go in the heat and stay 24 hours overnight and fight the next day, they get beefed up again, man. You know, but when we was fighting, we all weighed in that same day and we got to fight that evening, you know? So ain't too much you're gonna put in your body to get back up beefed up. But now that's what they do. They after 24 hours, you could fight a guy and drop off weight, was weighing 160, fight night, that guy probably now since he beefed back up, he probably 175, man.
And my last question was, you know, Jamaica is not an island that people normally associate with boxing. You know, they think track, they think reggae music, they think
Right.
maybe even soccer. But if you look historically, Jamaica has either directly or indirectly put out, for a small island, have put out some of the best boxers. You're talking about guys like yourself, Mike McCollum, Lloyd Hunnigan, Trevor Berbick, and guys like that. So my question for you is there something that defines the Jamaican style of boxing, or is it guys through the diaspora, they get to London, they get to Canada, they get to the US, and are then exposed to boxing?
Right. Well, that's how I got exposed to boxing. When I was in Jamaica, I know nothing about boxing. Cause I was from way up in the little country, man.
You're from Clarendon, right?
Right.
That's where Glenn Johnson is from there too.
Right, but you didn't have lights, you didn't have nothing, man. Only thing we had down there to play with is dirt and rocks.
Wow.
You know, but when I came over here, that's how I got involved into boxing, by watching the 1976 Olympic with one of my favorite fighters back in the day, Sugar Ray Leonard. He was always one of my favorite fighters from back in the day, you know, and when I watched the Olympic, and right after that, that's when I decided I wanted to be a fighter, man.
Okay, so it wasn't until after you left Jamaica then was it that you got exposed to the boxing? Interesting.
I was 15 years old when I came over here, and I got involved by, like I said, watching the Olympic, and from there on, I started watching boxing, because in Jamaica, we have no TV, you know, no radio, you know, so I didn't know anything until I came over here about boxing. And then I went on and take advantage of it, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's good. So we are coming up on 8 o'clock. I think we're gonna end up, but we don't want to take all your time, but the Casual Rand has one last question.
Okay, no problem.
I know we had 20 last questions, but this is the last one for you.
No problem.
This is the last question, man. This is something that 99.9% of the world will never feel. So tell me what it felt like that Sunday when you became world champion. What did you do that next day and that next week? How did you feel as one of the best fighters in the world?
Oh man, so what you said? What did I feel that day?
Yeah, that following that Sunday.
Yeah, like waking up
on Saturday. How did you feel Sunday?
You waking up that next day.
When I win my first world title.
Yeah, the first time. Yeah. The
first time. Oh man, I tell you, it was a great feeling. I just had got on my knees and thank God, because with all him, all what I've done in the game, what I've been done, man, I put my trust and faith in him, and went on and take care of the business and train hard. I put my heart and soul into it, man. You know, and that's what happened. But I always give the man that higher than I am all my praise, because without him, man, none of us on earth today ain't nothing, man. But as long as you put that faith in God, we'll be okay.
Awesome.
Yeah. Amen.
Beautiful. I think that's a perfect way to kind of wrap up this interview and kind of put a bow on it. This is our first interview. It's going to be hard to kind of top this. But that's how we like to do. At Pop Talk, the punters, we like to set the bar high. But once again, we want to thank Mr. Simon Brown, and a Atlantic City Boxing Hall of Famer, soon to be an International Boxing Hall of Famer, former world champion at 2 weight divisions, lineal welterweight champion, knocked out Terry Norris. We don't have to get into all of that, but we thank you for this interview, and we hope to see you again.
I appreciate it, man, and may God bless each and one of you, every one of you.
God bless you,
sir.
All right,
Keep punching.
Keep punching. You got to stay on. We're going to go ahead and pick up another segment and stuff. All right, then. All right, so I think I was able to. All right, so we're going to go ahead and just kind of keep rolling in there. That's how we do. We're live on there, but we are very appreciative of that. And we're gonna just finish up with a couple of segments, which is talking about the fights coming up this weekend. One is that we have the PBC charity event that's going on. So they need money for their fund, so they're asking us to give away some money for this Keith Thurman fight. And then we have, yeah, I mean, that's what it is, right? We might as well just be kind of donating money to PBC. And then there is another fight, which is under the radar. But when I think about it, it probably should be under the radar because Liam Smith, well, actually, I take that back. The card should not be under the radar. But the headline is, I believe, is Liam Smith, not Liam Smith, but Chris Eubanks Jr. fighting Liam Smith. But
Liam Williams.
Liam Williams. But the GWOAT is also back in action, which I think is probably has more implications for the boxing thing. So I'm also getting some, hold on, let me see. I was coming through in the wire. We say that Canelo and Charlo is official. This is what my producer's telling me here. And maybe we have some other topics. Teofimo changed. He is with the Reynoso camp, and Dylan White doesn't want the smoke from Fury. But let's go ahead and talk about Keith Thurman, who is asking people to give him $75 so that he can fight somebody who has never fought at welterweight, and his last fight was knocked out by a former lightweight. And I put out a bet. We haven't kind of come to the terms. I said that this wouldn't do over 25K. I just really can't see it.
We'll never know. If it does that, if it does anything under 100,000 buys, we'll never know. And the people who come out and say it did 25,000, they'll be discredited and disavowed and all the disses you can think of.
They'll be drugged through there like.
Oh,
there'll be all kind of rumors about them.
That's right. The guys like Rick Glazier, who people swore on, and people always use Rick Glazier's numbers before, and guys like Coppinger and Jake Donovan, those guys who they always use those numbers before, they'll come out, if it's anything anti-PBC, those guys will come out and they'll be discredited violently, aggressively discredited. Watch. But ain't nobody buying that goddamn fight.
I mean, would. I mean, how about?
I'm a PBC fan, but then I understand that. Yeah, it sucks for $75 to pay $80 for this pay-per-view. But I'm interested in seeing what Keith Thurman looks like, because I think, I mean, the ramifications of the fight. What does this mean? I think PBC is setting up to say that Crawford might price itself out, and Thurman might be the guy to fight Spence in September. So I want to see him look good and make that a possibility, or make it like they said, the WBC said, like make it an eliminator and find another set of welterweights to fight, so they can fight together, and the winner of that fight Spence for the title, or Ugas wins. My thing is, I mean, all of it boils down to the same subject. My thing is, these fighters are fighting. The only fighter that's not fighting is the one sitting there pouting, saying that everybody is ducking him. And I just don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody at welterweight is fighting or asking him to fight. Even was it not Mikey Garcia called Keith Thurman out this week. They was like, you ain't got a partner, I ain't got a partner, let's dance. Ennis is calling them out. You ain't got a partner, I got a partner, let's dance.
Thurman,
so my thing is, everybody at 147 is willing to fight. You know what I'm saying? This Keith Thurman fight is a fight, and it's all leading up to the 4 belts later on at the end of the year.
All right, but Randy, you do understand
just for clarification, you said that Mikey Garcia called out Keith Thurman, said that you don't have a fight, but did you mean Terrence Crawford?
I mean, yeah, Terrence Crawford. I'm sorry.
Okay, just
Mikey Garcia called out Terrence Crawford.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I think he
was that a private text that you received from Mikey Garcia?
That was just released today.
Where are you getting this from, Randy?
Hey man, hey man,
hey man. Okay, fair enough.
You call up Adam Schefter and say where you get your information. You know what I'm saying? ESPN, just go with it.
Mikey Garcia is calling out Terrence Crawford. I would love to see it. I don't think
he's done that before. Sometimes he does it to
Mikey Garcia ain't going nowhere near Terrence Crawford.
Sometimes he does it.
What do you think, Dave?
Another fight.
Where's Dave at? What do you think, Dave?
Coach. So, well, I think. Well, first of all, man, I'm not paying for the fight. You know,
Shocker.
I'm not paying for it, man. I think everybody right now. Well, first of all, I think Randy hit it on the head, man. Look, I'm looking. I got to see what Thurman got. You know what I mean? I don't know if there's a kind of a roll call of okay, it's time for us to kind of fall off and drop off. You know, I mean, look at what Crawford did to Porter. You know, is Keith Thurman next in line or whatever? You know what I'm saying? So I'm not paying for this fight, man. And I think anybody that's up and coming or anybody that's really trying to get to it, I think Keith Thurman his time is limited. I'm gonna put it to you that way. And prove me wrong. I'm not even trying to be no hater, man. I just think looking at the division, I think his time is real limited. You know, but he had been ducking, Spence for the longest. So that's what I say about that, man. I'm with Rand. I just got to see what the guy got, man. And so I'm not excited about it. I just hope neither fighter gets hurt. That's where I'm at with this fight. So that should tell you how much enthusiasm I got about it. I hope that neither one of them get hurt, but I just don't see him climbing that mountain to undisputed.
Do you think, Dave? Do you think Keith has to knock Barrios out, given that Tank was able to knock him out? And if he does not knock him out and he doesn't look good, how credible do you think he is moving forward as an opponent for Spencer or Crawford? Is he even viable at that point?
Well, if he wins, right? If he wins, to be honest with you, I still possibly wouldn't even put him as a solid, credible fighter, you know what I'm saying, against either one of those. More so against Earl Spence. And I'm a Crawford person, but I'm just looking at the history of how this guy ducked Earl Spence. Even to a point where there was one interview, and I wish I can probably easily find it, where, Thurman was, somebody mentioned Spence to him, and Thurman was like, well, when we think we're ready for something like that, and the term he even used was down the line. I can't remember that.
but no, it's infamous. It was, I mean, he's made a career out of trying to be eloquent in ducking Spence.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
so I'm tired of that.
Yeah.
Go ahead though, finish.
So to Jared's point is in my opinion, Jared, honestly, if he just, let's say he just wins and just doesn't look good, wins on points, then no, I don't think he's right. If he stops this dude, stops him, like good fashion, then it might be like, whoa, man, that Joker might got a last couple of hoorahs in him. But just a basic win, dude, no, man. Because Keith can run from anything, especially if somebody touch him in the body. You hit that navel, hit that side, he don't like it to the body. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, he don't. Nobody does. He don't react well to body shots at all.
So to Jerry's point, I personally don't think if it's just a win, no, man, I wouldn't even put him in a conversation with Crawford or Smith. If he drops this joker and puts him to sleep, good fashion, then I would. If that makes sense, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good point. One thing I think that he has to his advantage is that he does have a name, and he does have a resume. Even though if the resume is a little bit dated, may have some dust on it.
Who are you talking about, Thurman or
about Keith Thurman and going out there. So I don't think that no matter what happens really within a fight, he should be spoken in the same sentence when it comes to Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. But he remains a viable opponent for them because each of them are going to look for leverage and negotiating and doing this. And Keith Thurman, if he wins, he should win by knockout. One thing I will say, I don't like, I feel it's a little bit bullying, but he looked good. He looked sharp in some of the footage that I saw. He looked fast, quick twitch.
What, in training?
In training. He looked actually in really, really, really good shape. He actually looked a little bit bigger than I'm used to him. But it's not a lot. I mean, and the thing is that he's going to have the kind of strange advantage of being the faster guy, even though Barrios is kind of the smaller guy moving up. Like when you look at them, like he's going to be the faster guy. So he has every advantage in there, and it's set up for him to look good, even to look devastating. I don't know if it really says that much. But I think even though I say he has a name, Keith Thurman thinks way too much about himself, and the fact that he even talks like this, and the fact that he says his own name, is like a separate entity. And to even think that somebody would pay $75, and the fact that he tried to invoke quantum mechanics or some foul attempt to either be witty was super, super stupid. And I think this is going to be, I think this says a lot about, I don't know if they are trying to cash out, if they're having some money, but if this—
the money's not there. The money's not there.
But they owe somebody something. Why would you ask us to pay $75 for
it? He had to pay the fighters because Keith Thurman was making a ton of money to fight Barrios level guys. So you pay him way less money, or you give him what he wants and says, hey, if you make it up in the pay-per-views, here you can have it. But then he ain't. It's
not going to add up. I don't know. It's like I don't know.
Yeah, the money's not there.
They put no money into promotions, right? And
there was one commercial. There was one commercial in last week's conference championship game on Fox. This is a Fox pay-per-view. You would think that an organization like Fox would want to put the fight out there. Why wouldn't you, as Fox, put the advertise the fight? One commercial in the first half? That tells me you totally divested from this shit. That's what we speculated.
I don't know what it was. This is all speculative.
They just put a whole show on Fox Sports. They had a whole hour show on Fox Sports.
Randy, the conference championship game in the NFL is one of the most watched games in America.
It costs money. and it costs
How
money
much?
to advertise during that
Exactly.
time.
It costs money.
No, no,
You
but
know what I'm
that's
saying?
no,
Just
no,
imagine it was
it's a-
millions of dollars for Super Bowl commercials. So it's going to
It's
be
a
hundreds of thousands of dollars for conference championship
right,
commercials.
but that is from other companies trying to buy time. This is a Fox pay-per-view event. This is going to be on Fox. It doesn't cost them money to advertise their own shit. But what probably happened was you have other people who want to throw more dollars to get that advertising space, and this fight's not going to do any money. They threw one commercial. By contrast, you go back and look
So
at
they
that
let everybody
Fury
buy up
Wilder
that time.
promotion. If you look at that Fury Wilder promotion, that was a cross-promotional event. Those guys were on the field at
I get it.
halftime. There
I
was
get it. This
commercials
ain't the
everywhere.
most sexiest pay-per-view event, but you know what I'm saying? Like
shouldn't be pay-per-view at
we went
all.
through years with this with the zone, right?
I know, but I mean, even if like the model back in the day with HBO, like HBO used to have really excited. We used to look forward to that, and this is that it should have been something of that nature. Where, but I'm not sure. I think that there's that HBO had that paywall of being premium cable, but to not even that. Even if it was a 1995, they did some kind of special promotion with it where it was like the return of this. They should have been creative. They could have brought in some music artists or done something, but they did nothing. It seemed lazy. And it was just like, yeah, just give us this money. And they're trying to send, I'm a little confused about it, but like, we have about a quarter of the time left, and we want to give some attention to another card, which is Chris Eubanks Jr. against Liam Williams. That's actually a Fright pay-per-view. That's 1999, but the GWOAT is returning, and I think that deserves at least some attention, even though I'm a little kind of misinformed and disappointed in her opponent, in that she is has somebody who is kind of has a MMA career. She's one of those who has kind of I want her to kind of, there are some elite fighters out there that she could be, but this is kind of a return after she tried herself in MMA. But with that said, are we excited about this fight? Should we be excited? Are we following around Eubanks? Is it kind of news because of his name? Even though
I mean, it's the best card of the weekend. I'm excited for the fight. But I mean, it's kind of like by default. Like, I'm not excited at all about Thurman Barrios. I am curious to see how Eubanks does. This is the first live opponent that Eubanks has fought since Korobov. And if Korobov hadn't threw out his shoulder fighting him, I think Korobov was going to bust his ass, honestly. Liam Williams suddenly, abruptly switched trainers prior to this fight. I'm very, very curious to see how Liam Williams looks in this fight after dropping, I believe Barry McGuigan was his coach for the Andrade fight, in a fight where he had unlimited stamina, 0% body fat, and was eating shots all night long. I'm really, really curious to see how he looks against a guy who has a really, really good engine. McQuiggan's a guy who's had fighters pop for PEDs in the past.
Oh wow, okay.
So I am, and don't quote me on I'm pretty sure it's McQuiggan. I hope I'm not. Let me double check that. But
yeah, I mean, while you look at that, yeah, I said we could kind of we do want to kind of know if I didn't know about that news about him. So if you could confirm that about him changing trainers at the.
Oh, I know for a fact that he switched trainers. I'm trying to see who he was with before, and
so
I watched that Andrade fight more than once.
So Coach Dave, I know you probably excited to see the GWOAT get back in there, but with Chris Eubanks Jr., he's somebody to me who has some, flashes of, like, I wouldn't say brilliance in the ring, but just some talent, and definitely is has some athletic gifts. Do we kind of give too much attention to him? Because he's never, when it comes to the highest stage, he's never performed to me. So you can kind of just weigh in on both of those. I definitely want to give time to the GWOAT, Ms. Shields.
Well, for Eubanks, man, for me, man, okay. So I think he's a decent fighter. And that's because, and I think I've seen 3 of his fights, man. I think he's just a decent fighter, man. I think a lot of it might be his, definitely his name. But I'm hoping the guy does with an uppercut. So I'm interested in seeing the fight. I plan on really checking it out to kind of look at it like skill development, because it's just hard, dude, to not judge this kid by his legacy, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm really trying right now to not be negative and to be fair. And in all honesty, man, I just think my man punches can be a little bit more straighter. To be honest with you, I think his punches can be a little bit more straighter. I do not like his balance in fights. I don't like his, well, I meant lack of balance, really. If you just watch this kid when he starts rumbling, man. And I want to see him really slip punches and bend at the knees more instead of bending at the waist. And I'm worried about him getting hit with an uppercut, man. So I call him a decent fighter, man. And I think, yes, you're right, Cameron, or whoever, or Randy, or whoever said something about, are we giving him a lot of attention because of namesake? If that makes sense.
And I was, and a part of it is that we it does come with that, is trying to like separate and like judge him apart from his legacy, or his father's legacy, we should say correctly. But also his father was a great fighter. If y'all haven't seen, he was a great fighter. But also it's like, we also know that he gets a lot of attention and all these other things because of that, right? So, so how about weighing in? And like I kind of misspoke about it was Clarissa Shields, who was coming off of basically a year hiatus doing MMA, and she's fighting her opponent, which is Emma Kozin, who is 21. She's undefeated, 21-0-1 with 11 KOs from Slovenia. Do you have any thoughts? Are you excited to see Clarissa after kind of rolling around, dealing with BJJ and all those other things? And I'm not trying to be like, everybody who knows me, I watch MMA and other different sports, but but it's a different mindset when you think about guarding from takedowns and doing and working off your back, when boxing is truly a stand-up sport. Coach, you got any thoughts on seeing Shields back in the ring?
Look, man, I'm always excited about T-Rex. Now look, man, I'm glad she's coming back to boxing. I wish her the best of blessings on anything she do, but make no mistake about it, man. She is a boxer, bro. She is a boxer. I don't fault her on the opponent. I don't fault her on the opponent at all. Especially, getting back, into the ring, doing what she loves. I haven't heard anything about what she's going to do with the MMA stuff. I just hope she continues to focus on that boxing, because I know of at least, 2 women.
There's
overseas.
At least two exciting, enticing matchups, right, that we could have, right?
I would hope to see, and then also here. Well, so the 2 I'm talking about is definitely overseas that I would like to see a fight, but here I would love to see her and Franchon Cruz go at it again, man. So I would really love to see her and Franchon Cruz go at it again, man. I mean, I don't know if y'all watched their fight, man, but dude, it was a good fight. It was a
Who are
good.
the two you want to see her matched up with, Dave?
So one of the ladies, man, I think is well, she ain't ready for Clarissa Shields now, but I gotta get y'all this girl's Instagram, man. There's a girl out there named Sophie Alish. I can't pronounce her last name. Sophie Alish. And I'm gonna send y'all a clip on this one. But really, you know what? Really, I'll say just Sophie. I would like to see her fight Sophie. And me and the guy that was with Simon Brown had been talking about this girl, this Sophie Alish. And I know y'all don't follow the female boxers, man, kind of like what I do. But when I send y'all clips of this girl, I think y'all gonna say, yeah, that'd be a good matchup. So I would say Sophie Alish and Franchon Cruz is who I would.
Hannah Gabriel's, no Hannah Gabriel's rematch, because Hannah was the one knocked on her ass.
Hey man, I think she
That's
beat
what
Hannah.
I want to see.
I think it was a good fight. It was a good fight. I think Krista was still.
I think she kind of beat her handily though, but
I'm looking for that new blood that's coming up, man. And so,
all right,
especially with these now, this one fight is not. I don't think is not in her. It's not in her division, but there's another female fighter, man, out there that's called. Her name is Sandy Ryan. And these are young fighters, dude. That's crisp and sharp.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Which I've seen Shields jump about 4 weight divisions within like 3, like 3 or 4 fights and whatnot. So
we're talking about like one. I think somewhere I heard her say something about like they don't want me to come down to like was it 148 or something like that. And she
which is something that I don't necessarily recommend. I think it was something that really was detrimental, like did irreparable damage to Roy Jones Jr. But before we get it, just there and there, like putting on all that muscle, and then the way that he tried to lose it very, very quickly over that time. I don't think he ever really recovered from that. But we got about 5 minutes left, and so we're gonna do this kind of quick hit segment. We're gonna go to like just each of the pundits, and we're gonna kind of take on one of these topics real here for like a minute or so. So let's jump into. We're gonna jump into the casual one. So right now it looks like. What are your thoughts on Dillian White is ducking Fury now? Part of it is he's kind of has to take the 80-20 split.
Yeah, it's all about the 80-20. It's not only Dillian White, it's the whole promotion side. You know what I'm saying? So with Matchroom and Dillian White, they're going silent. So Fury's upset right now that he's having to carry this fight if it does go forward. He's going to be set doing all the promotion and everything else. And I see White's concern, but at the same time, this is White's biggest payday to date. So on one hand, it's your largest payday, but second, on the other hand, yeah, you're only getting 20%. But at the same time, like what Nims used to say, you need to fight for greatness. If you think you can honestly beat this guy, take the 20% and then flip it on the rematch, or flip it, put that on the next guy. Too many boxers just saying that they want 50-50 or they want above what they deserve actually. And my thing is, if you think you're better than the man, take what he's offering, put in a rematch clause, and bust his ass on the rematch, and then get your money that way. But if you thinking this is your payday, this is your Canelo, this is my one chance, and I know I'm never gonna get this chance again. I understand fighting for more of that 20%, but
yeah, I think at this point, where White doesn't have a lot of like leverage, he better go ahead and take that money, because he got slept by Povetkin and everything, so he can't jump into another fight. Then he's gonna lose all his leverage.
Well, he came back and beat Povetkin too. He did come back and.
Well, yeah, he did come out there, but it's like you're not gonna get too many chances. So this next one is really quick, fast. So Coach, actually, I'm gonna drop this to the boss, you know what I'm saying, the boss here, is the Canelo and Charlo is official.
Where are you seeing that reported? Before we go on our channel here and start.
So like, I mean, this did come from the casual one, but for me, from what I heard is that, is this official?
None of the major boxing outlets are reporting it.
I don't see the 90%. Contract. Can't find the contract, but I think 90%. I think the coach already said it. And
is this from a source, Randy, or is this from reporting?
What's that?
Is this from a source you have, or is this
your sources? Exactly.
Reporting? Reynoso's already mentioned it, saying that he's gonna fight him, and Canelo's been speaking about it, but I haven't seen anything saying that there was a signed contract.
Okay, because I have not seen anything. I saw something from Reynoso yesterday that says that Charlo offer is probably the most intriguing fight.
But it might be just capped for leverage.
You said what?
I'm saying, are you thinking that might just be capped for just leverage if you're trying to get another fight? Like, oh, well, this one is because like this is looking good. I got an
interesting text earlier in the week that said that Charlo was not the front runner and that Bivol had become the front runner. That was a text I got on Monday from somebody tied into the zone, inner to the workings there. So I don't know.
So right now, Boston and Willie, there is like, what's your odds, do you think, on Canelo, Charlo, Cinco de Mayo?
I think it's 60-40 right now. I really think it's 60-40. Yeah, Charlo apparently wants 15 mil, and what I heard was that they took 5 from Canelo to give it to Charlo, and none of that's official. 60-40, short answer to your question. 60-40, 60% that Charlo, we see Charlo and what's it called, Canelo on Cinco de Mayo.
All right. 60%. So, all right, we're gonna end it up with Coach Dave. So we are hearing that Teofimo is he's put a lot of egg on my face because I gave him a lot of credit. He is a very skilled, powerful fighter. I thought he was one of the better kind of father-son combination just because of what he done, even though it did seem tumultuous. But what do you think about, if this is true, thoughts about him changing to Reynoso to Canelo's trainer?
No, Reynoso is Canelo's trainer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like Teofimo is like supposed to be changing to him.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I misheard you.
Yeah, I probably misspoke. Go ahead.
Yeah. To be honest with you, man, I think that it's going to all be about this guy's mindset. I think, Canelo has a great trainer. I think, if you look at even Teofimo's dad, he did well. I don't think it's about a skill set with this guy anymore, because the guy can fight. The guy loves to rumble, man. I'm trying to say that this is coming back to that whole holistic point of view, right? It is about that mindset with this guy here, man. And whatever the rumors were, whatever, that's what I'm getting at. Now, with and I say that to preface it this way, let me compare it to this. Take a look at Deontay Wilder, leaving Bree, going over to Malik Scott or whatever. That was a skill set issue, man. I can't, even when Malik Scott had him, I can't say that there was truly a whole big difference of skill set that I saw in Wilder. And it could be that he just got punched and was going back. With Teofimo, I think he's a skilled fighter. Mentally, can his daddy, in all the tumultuousness of whatever's going on, who couldn't keep him mentally set to do what he needs to do, or can Canelo's trainer do it? So to me, it's a mental thing that's going to be the difference in whether this guy excels back to the top or not. And I hope that makes sense. I don't think it got nothing to do with skills. The boy can fight.
No, that's perfect. With
because,
that, you gotta go ahead.
Because as a trainer, it ain't always about just, and this again goes back to that holistic point of view. It ain't always about, can I teach this guy the proper way to throw the hooks? Can I get this guy to the right combination? Man, it's that connection with that fighter, man. It's that it is a connection and bond with that fighter. And I think that's where this guy in his last loss, where he's really hurting that man up here in that connection here with who's teaching him how to bring that thumb.
All right. And there it is. We're going to sign off. We're a couple of minutes over, but looking good. We are excited. This is our first inaugural guest in this episode. So this is Professor Nib signing off for Coach Dave, the Casual Rand, and Boston Jared.
Quick note before we sign off here, so we're not putting misinformation out there. It was Dominic Engel who Liam Williams left and is now with Adam Booth. I misspoke earlier. I said Barry McQuiggan. It was not Barry McQuiggan who had fighters who tested positive. It was Dominic Engel who had fighters who tested positive. Dominic Engel, not Barry McQuiggan. Sorry, Barry, if you saw this and you flipped the table over and you're looking for me on social media now, I misspoke. I apologize.
No, but we went and we got it in at the last second. We keep it empirical here. You know what I'm saying? Everything is observable. We got evidence. You know what I'm saying? So peace out. Pop top.
Peace.